There seems to be a lot of confusion on motorcycle insurance and how all that works when you're involved in an accident. I just want to be very specific, about a few things. Every situation is different. Everyone has their own situation. When it comes to property damage, insurance companies and lawyers, they only have a very small window to work with. But when it comes to bodily injury and medical, that's a much larger, there's a lot of variations that can go into that. So that's a separate thing. This is just property damage. I'm not talking about the medical side of when somebody hits you on a motorcycle. So in my situation, and in most situations out there, you're almost gonna lose every time. Even if somebody hits you. I know it sounds jacked up and you might not like it and you might not want to hear that, but it's almost pretty much impossible to win on a motorcycle. This is why insurance is very, very expensive. This is why some people can't even really get insurance. This is why people don't ride bikes. A lot of times it's not because people are scared of falling or whatever. It's just because they can't afford it, and they can't afford to lose this amount of money. I am losing money now, and I understand that somebody hit me, and I understand it wasn't my fault, and this guy did all these things. That's a different settlement. Like I said, that's gonna be involved in a different thing. But as far as the damage and the property damage goes on the bike, and the interest rate that I paid on the bike, the down payment I paid on the bike, what I still owe on the bike, which is now paid off completely. The motorcycle is paid off. I don't pay it off. Insurance company pays it off. Since there is a lien on the bike, you don't get that check. You're not gonna get a check. You're not gonna get this ginormous check in the mail and then you decide if you want to pay it off or not. That's not how that's gonna work for you. I know, I get it. People are gonna come in the comments, well, my buddy did this or I did. Everybody's situation is different. I can only tell you how my situation is working, and it is not going in my favor. Okay, the bike's getting paid off, and I'm gonna have some money on top, okay, to play around with. But it's barely gonna be enough for a down payment on a new bike, and I will not be able to afford another helmet. So it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while before I get another bike. And here's the situation I'm dealing with. Just because I paid $4,500 down and I still owed $48,000, which brings that motorcycle to what, $9,000 or so. I can tell you right now, the dealership at the end of the day, with my interest rate and everything that I paid on the bike, and would have at the end of the day, would have paid about $10,000 for that bike. Say what you want, that is the loan I was able to get, and I got screwed. Now, I can't really say I'm terribly mad about it, because yeah, the bike's paid off. All right, the bike's paid off. Okay, I lose maybe $1,000 on the whole deal at the end of the day, right? I'm getting some money on top. As far as your gear goes, if your gear itself, like the boots, the pants, if they're not ripped to shreds, they're not gonna pay for it. As far as your parts go, yes, they do say they will cover up to $5,000 in damaged parts, but they only take fair market value. They don't take your receipt and go, oh, you paid $500 for this exhaust, let's give them $500 back. That's not how that's going to work. They're going to find the absolute cheapest Akrapovic exhaust that they could possibly find anywhere that's used or wherever, and that's what they're gonna pay you for it, okay? So I know it's not fair, but you gotta understand that when you get insurance companies don't make money by you paying and them giving you everything you want. Insurance companies make money by taking your money, counting on you never getting in an accident. That's how they really make their money. They make their money by charging you all these ridiculous, all these different kinds of little variables that they put in their insurance policy with you. This is why you have to read your policy very carefully, not go by what the guy says. If the guy's telling you on the phone, oh yeah, we'll pay $5,000. Oh, that sounds great. $5,000 up the stuff? Well, I can spend $3.5 grand. I'm gonna get it back if I crash it. No, you're not. You're not. And that guy might have said that, but that's what he said. But read what it says in the policy, because the policy is going to clearly state what that means. Very clearly, it's going to say it. All right. What he's telling you on the phone is this big number to make you go, oh, well, let me sign this policy. This is how they make money. They make money by you paying them And then if you are involved in an accident, they're not going to give you much. I mean, they're not going to give you what you think, especially in a motorcycle. Now, I understand there's gap. I understand there's all these different things. But like I said, every situation is different. So I can't be overly mad. I'm getting the bike paid off. It's done. I don't get that check. They paid the check. It's done. Bike's paid off. Boom. I'm happy about that. The bike's paid off. I don't owe any money on the motorcycle. I'm only left with, I don't want to get too involved, but maybe $3,800. Okay. That's not enough to put a down payment on the bike that I want, which is a CBR 1000 RR. It'll cost me $3,500 down payment on the loan. They're going to give me another loan for the bike and pay 10%. My interest rate went down. Perfect, right? Everything's going to work out fine for the next bike. Problem is I can't buy another helmet with that. Can't afford it. So everything's going to have to wait until September when I get out to Texas. I'm not going to rush a bike out here in Iowa. It's not going to happen, guys. I mean, I'm moving in 10 days. So when I get to Texas, I'll be able to find a bike for probably about $9,000, $10,000. Taxes are cheaper. They don't even have taxes, state tax in Texas. So, you know, we're good there, and I should be able to get the loan and we'll be fine. And so I'm not overly mad about it, but I want you guys to be very, very understand, like when you get these insurance policies for your motorcycle, you're almost not gonna win. If you crash, somebody hits you, it does not matter. Okay, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose out. You're gonna get the bike's gonna get paid off. That's gonna be fine, but you're not gonna get all this money that you think. Oh, like I think, oh, you're gonna get 20 grand. No, I'm not. You're not gonna get $20,000 for a $6,000 bike. You're not gonna get that. They paid off the bike and I got some money on top of it, and I can't really argue that. Now the bodily injuries, all the other stuff, the medical, that's a whole different settlement that's gonna take months. Okay, that is not something that I'm getting anytime soon. So that's a big part of it. Now, lawyers, when you get lawyers, they take a third of whatever it is, but they do not take a third of property damage. So whatever I get for the bike, whatever I got for the bike, they don't take money out of that. They only take money out of the medical, all right? Because they're gonna get me way more money than I would have ever been able to get on my own. They're gonna go into every single, I mean, the lawyers are good, all right? So medical is different. Like I said, property damage. I've been dealing with insurance companies my entire life. I owned a body shop for 15 years. Now, maybe not that long, but a very long time. In and out of body shops. I've been involved in insurance companies for a long time. They make money by taking your money and giving you very little back for what you paid for it. That's how they make money. And on top of the fact that you might not ever get in an accident for 10 years and you're paying however much. If you're 20 years old and you get a ZX-10R, your insurance is going to be about $6,000 a year. That's $500 a month for a ZX-10R. And I know kids who have ZX-10Rs that are 20, 21, 22 years old, and they're paying that much money, and they might never crash that bike. So they're making $6,000 a year and never have to pay you a dime. A dime. Now, as you get older, these things go down lower, but these bikes are expensive. So, you know, it's one of those situations where I know, like, people are gonna go in the comments and say, oh, you know, you just really don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it is what it is, right? You just, like I said, I'm getting a bike and getting paid off. I unfortunately won't be able to get a new motorcycle and a helmet replacement at the same time with everything. Like, I might be able to, but at the same time, I have to use some of this money to move to Austin because I've been out of work for 3 weeks. I'm not getting all that compensated payback immediately. So it's really bad timing. You can't, there's just so many things you can't and can't do that I didn't know, and that I know now that I have lawyers and I'm getting involved in this thing. But I can tell you guys, and this is why I wanted to make a video about it, because I feel like a lot of people they get a bike and they get so overly excited, they don't even care about what's gonna happen if you get hit, or what's going to happen if you fall or you crash, and they sign these insurance policies and they give them these big numbers and they throw these big words at them, and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds great, $5,000 this amount, this is covered, that's covered. You have to read that policy, and I know that nobody likes to read insurance policies because the way they design these policies is very specific. It's to annoy you. It's so over dramatic. It's just like, who's gonna sit there and read these tiny little words? And it's annoying. So what can you do about that? Well, you can get legal advice. You can research. You can take my word for it. Like look into specifics. A lot of times they're highlighted. Like you can read into like, all right, what's okay, up to $5,000 damage recovered, or like there'll be highlighted sections that'll say like how much is your deductible or whatever it is. It'll be highlighted. We'll read that part because reading the whole thing, it's a lot of language in there that's just going to be, it's just over repetitive of the same thing over and over, and it's meant for you to look at it and go fuck it and just sign it. That's what it's meant and designed to do. There is absolutely no reason why they need to go into paragraphs about section 8. There's no reason for any of that. They do that to specifically annoy you, so you don't read it and you don't go into it and you sign it and you're like, oh, they're just going to cover $5,000 worth of stuff. No, they're not going to cover 5,000. That's up to 5,000. That's how it's designed to say. You got to really look into it and question the person who is giving you the policy. Like, question them. They have to answer your questions. If you ask them, well, what does that mean exactly? And if they don't tell you exactly, then find someone who will tell you exactly. Like, because when they say they're going to cover up to 5,000, like I said, it's because you paid $100 for a windscreen, they're not going to give you $100 for a windscreen. If all of your kit isn't, like my helmet was done, they're paying for the helmet. That's no questions asked. They're paying for the helmet. The problem is, and I'm probably going to use that money to buy another Orion helmet because that's the most important thing. That's almost more important than the bike itself. Like, I'll get a bike. I'll get a bike eventually, guys. It's probably going to take till about September. I don't know. But I'm not going to be able to get a bike anytime soon. You're not going to get enough money for your motorcycle and once it's paid off. Now, if your bike's paid off and you get in an accident, they'll give you, then you might make out some money, all right, oh, okay, if you had $17,000, you bought cash a $17,000 bike, and now you have this Mac Daddy insurance and all that, okay, yeah, you're gonna get probably a good amount back, but you also bought the bike for 16 grand, so you're probably gonna get what it's worth, not Blue Book Kelly value. Like, you look up a car VIN number, oh, this is what this bike with this amount. That's not how they do it. They go by the scrap of the aluminum, the wiring inside, the brake, all that stuff. That's how they calculate how much your motorcycle is worth. All right, they don't calculate it by putting in the mileage and whatever. That's not how it works. That's just how it is, and that's the insurance company that I'm dealing with. Okay, they're all pretty much the same. They all do the same thing. They may tell you that that's what they're doing, but when you really read into it, it's not. It's just crazy how this whole thing works. So you're probably gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Like I said, if you have a real expensive bike, you paid for it cash, you're gonna lose some money because you bought the bike for cash. You're not gonna get that. They're not gonna go, oh, this bike has 500 miles on it, and he crashes it. He spent 16,000. Let's give him 16,000 back. You're never ever. That's never gonna how that's gonna work. They're gonna give you like 14 for it, all right, or whatever. Maybe less than that even. And then so if you get hit, you can't go after somebody else's insurance. You can't sue them. You can't sue the other insurance company for this person hitting you. You can't do it. It's just literally impossible. I could go after, like, there's things I could do, medical, bodily injury, all that stuff. Like I said, we're gonna. That's different. That's a whole different thing. The lawyers have a very wide range of things to work with. So and I think where a lot of people get confused is when you get in a motorcycle accident and you do get hit by someone. I feel like a lot of people think you're just going to get this huge, ginormous check because somebody ran in you. That is not how it's going to work. I'm sorry to tell you, it's not. Okay, take my word for it. This is literally life experience. This is what I'm going through right now. This is not how this is going to work. You're going to get one check for the motorcycle property damage, and you're going to get another check later when all of the doctors' fees come in, all that stuff, whatever rehabilitation you need it. I'm to save every single receipt. Like, if I have to go buy Neosporin or ADD or Advil, bandages, whatever, all that stuff gets saved, and I get all that back. So you're not just gonna get, so it's gonna be another check you get later. It's not just on one big thing. And So that is what it is. That's the unfortunate part about motorcycles. You are almost 1,000. I mean, it's not even almost. You guys you're gonna lose. It's designed for you to lose. If insurance companies were designed so you win every time, then they wouldn't make any money. This is why insurance companies make millions, billions and billions of dollars. They're mostly all Fortune 500 companies, some of the bigger ones. And the bigger ones adapt to these smaller ones, right? So they're usually always owned by a larger entity. But like, you know, guys, that's the risk you're gonna have to, that's the risk you take when you get into this bike life. And that's something you're gonna have to consider. You really have to consider that. Like, I know a lot of people don't think about it and they're like, oh, I'm never gonna crash. You don't know that. It's not even a matter of if, it's when. You're gonna dump that bike. Everyone is gonna crash their bike and hope to God that you have the gear on and the helmet on and you don't get in too bad a shape. Hopefully you don't get hit by a car like I did, because that's probably the worst case scenario, but it is survivable. And if you wear the right gear, you can survive it and walk away unscathed pretty much for the most part. I got very lucky, but like I said, guys, unfortunately for me, like, yeah, the bike's paid off. I'm getting some change back on top of that, but it's not enough for me to like, oh, now I'm gonna go buy an R1 because I'm getting like this huge check. This is not why. It's just not designed that way, man. And unfortunately, like, yeah, I know some people may sue and some people may do all these other things and some people may be out of work for months at a time, and all that's going to get compensated in the end at another settlement that's separate from property damage. You understand me? So like, I don't have any injuries. I'm cleared to work right now. I'm just on vacation. So I will get compensated for the loss of overtime that I wasn't able to do. But as far as like bodily injury goes, like there's just nothing there. So unfortunately, like there are some other things that I'm not going to talk about on YouTube that are personal. Like my wrist, you know, I'm not really going to get into it. I do have some injuries that could be lifelong. It's going to take quite some time for me to get back to where I was 100%. Like literally, the lawyer doesn't care if you're 98.9% and you can lift dumbbells. You need to be 100% where you were before that accident happened. Until I'm there, this thing drags on. So, and I'm not there at all. And, you know, I can barely even put a shirt on. It's hard to, all these things. I'm not going to get into the medical part of it. That's a whole separate thing, very personal. But as far as property damage goes, it's very hard to win. I know you can get GAP. And you can get the GAP insurance and they cover the GAP or whatever. Even that has its losses in it. You're going to pay a lot of money for it. It's you're still going to lose in the end anyway. It's just, guys, motorcycling in general is very expensive. You know, it is what it is. As far as insurance goes, it's pretty hard to win. I mean, even if you get hit, you know. So that's unfortunate, right? But like I said, like I'm alive, you know. I'm alive. I'm not gonna really complain about that, you know. I'm alive, and I'll get another bike. The bike's paid off. Yeah, you know, this guy, he comes, he takes my motorcycle away from me at the absolute worst time in the world. I still paid a ton of money for it. I still owe a ton of money on it. Well, I did, not anymore. But, you know, so like, yeah, you know, it sucks. It is what it is, though, and there's really nothing you could do about it. I'm going to get another bike. Like I said, you know, I'm going to be left with like 3,800 at the end of it. At the end of the day, like that's about the amount that I'll have left. Because 6,900 is what they're giving me for the total loss of the motorcycle, plus 1,000 for the helmet, minus 4,800. I mean, you know, so, you know, like, it sucks. It does suck. But, man, I mean, you just gotta read what you're signing. And I read it, and I knew what I was getting into. Like, I knew all this. I knew that if I got in an accident with this bike, that I was gonna be screwed. Like, especially if I crashed it. Like, I get if somebody hit you, I thought like maybe I'd probably be okay, and like I'll definitely be able to pay for the bike. But it's not so much, like I said, everybody's situation is different. The reason why I'm screwed so bad right now, and I'll be straight up honest with you guys, is because I'm moving to Texas in 10 days. all right? If I was staying in Iowa and I wasn't moving and I didn't have all this other shit going on, it almost wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, I would go to pay off the bike, I'd have $3,500 left, and I'd go buy myself a brand new CBR 1000 RR. I mean, that's what I would do today, because that's what I could do right now. But because of the timing, I need to move, and that's the most important thing. So unfortunately, that's why I'm screwed. You know, everybody's situation is different. It's not so much I'm screwed because, oh my God, I can't get another motorcycle now. I could get another bike, but I wouldn't be able to move to Texas. You know, so it's one or the other. What's more important, my career or getting a motorcycle? So I'll get a bike, and I'll get a cheaper bike than the CBR 1000 RR. I liked a lot. $16,800. 90% of the loan was being covered. I'd owe 10%. It was $3,500 down. So, you know, I'm just gonna get the R7 or ZX10R, or ZX6R, which was in around 11 grand. 90% of that. The loan company is gonna let me buy the bike in Texas. They don't care where I buy the bike. They just care that I pay for it, right? And obviously I have a good history of payments. I just paid a bike off out of my hands, but I would have done that either way. But like I said, everybody's situation is different, guys. Just know that when you get into this bike life thing, and you're gonna get a brand new bike, especially, or used bike, whatever, when you do this insurance thing, you're probably not gonna wanna crash it. That's why people put, you know, a lot of people don't really give a shit if the bike gets scratched up, but you know, you want to protect the bike, because if it gets totaled and something like this happens or whatever, you're gonna lose. You know, it's just a lot of times why people don't get into bikes is because, one, it's not cheap, guys. Like, oh, I'm gonna get a bike and save money. No, you're not. You're gonna get a bike and lose money. You are not going to save money by getting a motorcycle on gas, on anything. All right. It's expensive. It's a very, very expensive hobby. They're really cool. They're really fast. I love them, and I'm addicted to it, and I'm never going to stop. And so, but I have to warn you guys that these are the things, right? These are the real life things. When, like, I know it's all how, oh, you know, ride around, humpty glory, life is great, but when it's not great, it's really bad, you know? So just know that before you get into this thing, and know that while you're riding today with no gear on, or, you know, decide to, you know, spend $3,000 on motorcycle parts, just know that that's not going to get covered. I don't care what they told you on the phone. If you read the contract and the policy, it's clearly going to state how that works out and how they actually pay you for that. So be aware. Now, I knew all this already, so I don't really give a shit. You know, I knew it. I knew that I wasn't going to get paid for the full amount of the exhaust. All right. But, you know, it just, or anything else that I put on the bike, it just, you know, you'll have the option to buy the bike back too. You'll have the option to retain it and then sell it for parts, whatever you want to do to it. I decided not to go down that road. They paid for the bike. It's their bike. I'm not buying it back for $2 grand, whatever. I don't want, what am I going to do with that thing? You know, I need something I can get to work with. I had a new bike that ran. I want a new bike that ran. So that's my choice. Whatever. My insurance is not going to go up at all. I already have a quote for 3 bikes that I am interested in. It's not going up. I didn't get hit. It's you know, you're involved in an accident, but not to my fault. So therefore my insurance doesn't go up. I just gotta let you guys know, you know, it's gonna be a while before you see motovlogs or any kind of motorcycle on a channel. I can barely, you know, I don't even know how I'm gonna get a new helmet at this point. It's gonna suck. No, Elizabeth, you are not buying me another helmet. Out of question. You're just not doing it. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fucking, man, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but Raven Moto, if you guys do crash and ruin your Raven Moto pants that you just bought for $200, or gloves, or anything you buy from them, they will replace it. Make sure you take photos, make sure they're clear, send it to them, and they will replace it. They have a replacement policy on all their gear, and that's really, really cool. A lot of companies do not do that. Raven Moto does. If you want to use and buy anything, 10% off, Hardcity, all capital letters. Y'all have been selling them out of pants. I mean, I cannot thank you guys enough. The amount of money that we made Raven Moto on the channel, these guys love me, and they love you guys. And hopefully, we can get a new bike so I can get some new gear. They're sending me out some new jeans, even though the insurance company won't pay for the ones that I have because they just aren't that bad. They won't pay for the shoes, they're paying for the helmet. But so I'm getting, you really have to make sure that stuff is damaged. Insurance companies, oh, you're not gonna, oh, my boots are damaged. They gotta be ripped in half, like, you know. So unfortunately, guys, that's the situation I'm dealing with. But it's not all as bad, you know. You will get covered on some things. Just make sure you save receipts, which if you're buying anything off Revzilla, Raven Moto, wherever, all you got to do is, if you don't know where your receipt is in email, or you use PayPal, whatever, you can easily go back in time and find any kind of receipt. Now, I keep this stuff in a separate file on my phone always. I always screenshot any receipt that when I buy something for any gear or kit, and I put it in a separate file on my phone. So I suggest you guys do that. That really helped. And because it made it easy where they were like, oh, we need all the receipts for everything. You can't just tell them this is how much. You need to show, you know. And so I had everything, and I was like, here. I literally just sent them a whole file, and they were like, holy shit. And I'm like, yeah, there's $3,500 worth of parts on that bike, and I'm not getting any of it back. Pretty much none of it. Yeah, not even close. Not even close. The grips, the rear axle spools, the tank pads, the tail tighty, the tail light, the windscreen, the Spears Racing clutch springs, the Spears Racing radiator cover. What else? You're not getting any of it. Zero. Helmet, I'm getting that back. Clear as day. They're gonna cover the helmet, you know. That's a vital piece of safety kit. It is damaged excessively. They're covering the helmet and the visor. So that's my situation, guys. That's what I'm dealing with. And like I said before, I don't ever ask for money, and I don't, you know, really ever do that. But if you do wish to donate, all you have to do is go where the share button is. It says share, the like, the subscribe, all that stuff down here at the bottom. There's a little heart with a $sign. That is how you donate directly to the channel and to me. That's how you do that. It's basically like a super chat button, so you could donate any amount. And if you want to become a patron, we're going to be giving away Raven Moto gear. Patrons super cheap. We're going to be giving away an Arai Corsair X when I get to 50 patrons. And again, follow those links in the description. Discount codes, there's all kinds of links down there below, but Raven Moto is the place to be for motorcycle gear. They got gloves, they got jackets, hoodies. They're having armored hoodies come out. Their pants are ridiculous. They got the ashed ones. They got regular jeaned ones, which are my next one. It would be regular denim look. Ooh, they're so sick. So yeah, guys, go shopping. They got boots even. They're riding boots that are really sick. They make really nice stuff. And so there's 10% off for y'all. But yeah, so that's what's going on. That's what I'm dealing with. And the move to Austin is coming very soon. You know what I mean? 10 days, you know, we're out of here. So yeah, life is getting real crazy for me. I do kind of want to make a video about, well, anyway, we'll figure that out another time. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you all. Peace.